Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Now, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to calculate lifetime value. This is an important metric to have because basically it sort of helps you to understand how much you should be spending to acquire a customer, and then it also helps you to understand what, on average, how much your customer is worth to you over say the lifetime of their existence with you as a business. So it also is a very good sort of metric when we actually calculate the profit. So you generate X amount on average from a customer, from your customer base over say a year or two time frame. But what's the actual profit of that as well? And when you calculate the actual profit, it gives you sort of like a window, like a margin then to understand, okay, well, like I've got this much then to use to actually acquire the customer. So as long as I'm not going over that, I'm acquiring customers at profit. And then of course there's ways that you can sort of improve, lowering the acquisition costs, as well as sort of increasing the lifetime value through, different ways that you can market through the likes of email and retargeting lists on the likes of Facebook, and other kind of tier one traffic platforms. So anyway, without further ado, we'll hop into the slide and let's get learning how to calculate lifetime value. All right, so what are we going to learn today, guys? In today's tutorial, it's all about calculating the customer lifetime value for your eCom business, okay? Now, this is a very important metric to figure out because it helps to understand a couple of things. How much you should be spending to acquire a customer and how much a customer is worth on average to your business. Now, if you plan on running any ads to acquire customers, you need to know your profit margin from your average customer lifetime value, okay? And knowing this figure will help you to sort of understand how to remain profitable with your paid acquisition. Now, what is customer lifetime value? Well, in simple terms, it's the amount of revenue your customer will spend with you and your business over the lifetime that they are a customer. And you can calculate lifetime value over a 3, 6, 12 month period or even more. And to help you understand what sort of revenue on average you generate from your customers during this time period. And figuring out the average profit margin on your lifetime value will help you to figure out how much you should be spending to acquire a customer for your store. So how to calculate lifetime value? Well, calculating lifetime value is pretty straightforward. The formula for calculating this important metric is as follows. So you have lifetime value equals the number of repeat transactions times the average order value times the average retention time. So this calculation will provide you with how much each customer is worth to you in terms of revenue, and you can focus on specific time periods such as, like I said before, 3, 6, and 12 months when calculating your lifetime value. So let's take a look. Let's have an example here in the next slide. So firstly, we'll calculate the repeat transactions. So in order to calculate the number of repeat transactions within your eCom store, here's the formula below. So it's the total number of orders within a specific time period divided by total number of customers within the same specific time period. So we work with 12 months, for example, here. So it would be 1,000 orders divided by 568 customers. And that'll equal a 1.76 per customer for a 12-month period. Now, the next part of the equation really is how to calculate the average order value. So to calculate the average order value within your eCom store, here's the formula. So it's total revenue within a specific time period divided by the total amount of orders within the same specific time period, which will give you your average order value. So the example that I just have here is 120,000 in revenue, say for example, over a 12-month period, divided by 1,900 orders over that same 12-month period, will give you an average order value of $63.16. Now, the last part we have to calculate is the average retention rate. So to calculate the average retention rate, you kind of need ideally to have some sort of previous transaction history to calculate this correctly. Now, if you don't have previous transaction history, you can take a conservative estimate. So if you don't have previous transaction data and customers, etc., you can always use a 3, 6, or 12-month benchmark to include in the formula. So for our example, we'll use a 2-year retention time rate. So now we're going to put our results together to actually calculate the lifetime value. So putting the numbers together based on what we have calculated in this presentation so far. So we had the number of repeat transactions was 1.76. The average order value was $63.16, and the average retention time is 2 years. So the calculation then goes number of repeat transactions, which is 1.76 times the average order value of $63.16, and we divide that, we multiply that by the average retention time, which is 2 years. So that actually equals out to $222.32. So this figure we can expect to generate per customer over the average lifetime value, or the average lifetime of your customer relationship, which was, in this example, 2 years. So what's important to calculate here is calculating the profit. So we now we know what our lifetime value is on a customer over 2 years. So it's, in the example we're giving here, it's $222.32. What we don't know is what the profit, is on this actual figure here. So to calculate the the average profit on the lifetime value, we use the following formula. So it's customer lifetime value times the average margin equals the average profit on your lifetime value. So in the example here, we have $222 over a 24-month period, and let's say after all cost of goods sold is you're hitting a 50% profit margin. That's going to give you an average profit of $111.16. Okay. So how we sort of determine what to pay when it comes to acquiring customers. Now, what we like to do when calculating lifetime value through paid acquisition is to look at some numbers within the data that have been acquired already from our clients' customers. So let's say we want to calculate our average LTV of our clients' customers over a 3-month period. The reason for this is because we want to figure out how much revenue we're making on average from customers for that period of time. Okay, so when we get that figure and calculate the average profit margin, this will help us to determine what we can pay to acquire a customer. So in order to sort of determine what to pay here, we like to use the formula here. So it's total revenue per customer within a specific time period divided by the number of customers generated within the same specific time period, and that'll give you the average revenue per customer. Okay, so the ARPC tells us that the average revenue per customer over a specific time period. So for example, 30,000 total revenue generated over a 3-month period, divided by the number of customers generated, which was 1,200 over that same period, will give you a $25 average revenue per customer. So if we generate $25 on average from a customer over a 3-month period, and our average profit margin after cost of goods sold is 50%, that gives us a $12.50 that we can use to acquire a customer. So all we got to do is keep our cost per acquisition below this figure of $12.50, and we're in profit after the 3 months. Okay, so an example here is if we typically acquire a new customer at $10, we know that we are making a 2.5x revenue return on average over the next 3 months that follow. So it's $25 on average from our customers. We're also $2.50 in profit from our acquisition costs. So if we extend that out further, it becomes more profitable. After 6 months, if we generate $50 in revenue on average from a customer, applying the same customer acquisition costs at 10, we're making a 5x revenue return on average from the customer acquisition. So understanding these numbers, we can get more aggressive with our customer acquisition and scale things up by buying more traffic and understanding that as we get customers for say $10, they're returning on average $50 back after 6 months. Now these calculations they help you massively because you know what revenue you can sort of expect to make on average from your customer base. So more importantly, the profit you are generating after cost of goods sold gives you a figure to work with for your customer acquisition costs. So for example, if we use the previous example of Average profit made after 3 months, which is $12.50. Acquiring a customer for less than $12.50 gets us off to a great start with the store. Now, over the months and years that follow, the revenue and profit on average per customer will grow as we continue to remarket them through channels like email and maybe ad buyer retargeting lists and push notifications, chatbots, whatever it is. Okay, so the example we gave before, it was $222.32 revenue, and we made a profit of $111.16. That's after a 24-month period. Hey everyone, that concludes the end of the video. So I hope that was of value to you. I hope you understand now that how to calculate lifetime value, and also the importance of lifetime value and calculating not just the revenue generated on average from your customers, but the actual profit as well, and then how you use that margin then to sort of acquire customers. And like I said now in the beginning of the video, you have to look into the idea of using paid acquisition to sort of try and lower the acquisition cost so your margins are better overall. But then what's also really important too is you acquire a customer, and then it's that whole idea of trying to sort of have them repeat purchase and kind of have their average order values higher. And that's where the sort of real where your revenue grows along with the profit margin as well. And you need to be really thinking too about okay, so if they bought product X, can product A, B, C complement and enhance the end results that they're looking for? So for example, if you have a camping website and someone goes buys a tent, can you sell them also down the line things like other accessories, sleeping bags, for example, fishing rods, any kind of survival equipment like pen knives, camper cooking equipment, all that kind of the survival gear, the boots, all the gear that people purchase basically to go camping in the outdoors for whatever amount of time it is. I'm just giving you an example now. I don't go camping, but that's off the top of my head. So you need to be thinking about, they've got this, but if they use these other offers here, it'll enhance the result that they're the desired outcome that they're looking for. And it's your job then on the back end through email and through retargeting lists as well, push notifications, chatbots, the whole lot, to sort of reel them back into the site and purchase more again. And then you've got upsells and cross sells, and so you've got to really sort of have a strategy on the back end as well once you acquire the customer, to actually extend out the revenue generated from them on average, and of course the profit that comes with it. And you have to be a little bit creative too sometimes, depending on the niche that you're in, on sort of the offers that you can sort of give them. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something physical. It could be something educational. It could be something digital that you could offer them. Okay, like again for the camping example, how about teaching? How about a course to actually help people to understand how to survive in the outdoors? And you've got all these sort of modules that you could incorporate into this course, and people then, the end result is that they know how to light a fire and learn how to fish, basically learn how to keep themselves safe, warm, all that kind of stuff as well when they're actually out in the outdoors. So that's another offer you could be including as part of your sort of back end. And again, it sort of opens up the revenue generated and the profit margins as well. So that's about it, guys. I hope you got some value out of this, and we shall see you in the next video. Take care.